wanted to say hello to everyone again since it's been a while. I got a few things to throw at you while you're here. Obviously, I'll post some updates and a sneak peek at the dub. Yes, I'll be showing a clip from the very first issue, but that will be for the end. In addition, I wanted to give some insight on the behind the scenes without putting too much on blast. I also want to let you in on the next project after House of X, Powers of X. Yeah, I know what you're going to say. You haven't even published the one you're working on. I know, but it's a quick update. But anyways, happy 4th of July if you celebrate it. But let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to do my best to not sound like I'm complaining. I really don't want to do that, but this project has been the toughest project I think I've ever done. Making the video itself is the usual challenge, so that's fine. You know, sound effects, keyframing, dynamic music, etc. But what's especially problematic is gathering voice actors for this thing. We have about 40 people so far, and some are doubling up on roles. The roles I have filled amount to about 50, give or take, but that's what I got filled so far. Charles Xavier and Moira McTaggart have been filled, finally. The VA for Moira is actually from Ireland and has a faint Irish accent, but I thought it was still important for the role, since Moira is actually Irish. The Charles Xavier voice actor is from the UK, so you'll still hear that posh British accent. But what's remaining are some small roles, and Rasputin 4 that I'm having a hard time securing a voice actor for. Progress has been slowed by a lot of different factors. Mic quality issues, personal situations causing delays in line delivery, work schedules, time zones, retakes for some lines, and so much more. All of this just adds to the frustration with not being able to move forward in certain areas. So I've decided to just edit where I can with what I have. I've also been mulling this over a bit with how I like to publish the series, so I think I'm gravitating more towards 3 issues a week in one video. So if one issue is about, let's say, 20 minutes, you should expect about an hour or less for the whole thing. I'm also leaving out some of the data pages you see in the story. They do give some background information, but I found that the pacing of the story is interrupted by these things. Consider it a creative choice for this media format. And I didn't know how exactly to show these pages in the dub. I've seen some other dubs where they're just reading it off the page like a high school PowerPoint, and I really didn't want to do that. Those data pages, while they're good to read, they're not exactly needed to be read. They're just to provide some exposition. So, for the sake of the dub, it's best to just omit them. If you like to read them yourself, then obviously you can just read the actual comic. But the dub is mainly just focused on the presentation and moving things along, and there's just too much to really review for me to include those data pages. I did want to speak on the voice acting experience from a project leader point of view. So as you know, 95% of my voice acting space comes from Casting Call Club. I've only been voice acting a year while I work a full-time job as well. As a project leader, I've had the privilege of meeting a lot of voice actors, and it's taught me a lot about the community. I still got a lot to learn though. I work with both seasoned professionals and newcomers to voice acting, and you know, one thing stands out. It doesn't matter whether you have a $1,200 mic or a $100 mic. Professionalism isn't defined by your voice acting, it's defined by how you communicate and conduct yourself. Now, granted, a good sounding mic is probably really important to have for voice acting. I'm not dismissing it, but I'm really just focusing on this one area that I think makes a huge difference. I've had a few voice actors on this project that unfortunately I've had to let go of simply because of the lack of professionalism. And there was a mix of good mics and bad mics, but while all that is considered, it's still really important that we understand that who cares if you have a great voice and you can do all these great impressions, but then you're just a jerk. You know, it's about that working relationship. You know, you can have all of the bells and the whistles and still not make the best first impression with who your client is. You know, and these things are especially important. Maya Angelou said, "People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel." And I have to admit that there may have been moments in my ignorance where maybe I didn't say something right. I know I'm not alone. I, for one, strive towards a good relationship with as many people who are willing. But I understand that won't be everyone. So that's okay too. So I've recently had an idea that would be a little break from the usual dubs. I wanted to take an existing comic and reformat it into an audio drama. It couldn't be any comic I wanted, it had to be a good story, and perhaps some artwork that was more or less an acquired taste. I found that in Silver Surfer Black. This is a 5-issue miniseries written by Donny Cates and drawn by Tradd Moore, who has this psychedelic art style. It's really cool to look at, but I couldn't imagine everyone feeling the same way. There is another story that comes right before Silver Surfer Black. Guardians of the Galaxy from 2019, number 1, The Final Gauntlet. It starts with the death and funeral of Thanos, with people from all across the cosmos in attendance. The funeral is led by his brother Eros, and during it, Thanos leaves behind a holographic message revealing that he transferred his consciousness into someone before he died, but he refuses to say who. Naturally, everyone starts freaking out, and they're trying to figure out who the new Thanos could be. Silver Surfer's there for all of this as well. So things quickly spiral out of control when the Black Order steals Thanos' body, and then someone activates a weapon that triggers a black hole event, pulling in everyone nearby. And that's the moment the story begins for Silver Surfer Black, when Surfer and several other heroes are dragged through the black hole, and then Surfer is eventually spit out into this strange, distant reality, and then it kind of kicks off the whole thing. Now, before the story transitions into Silver Surfer Black, I'm going to be weaving in the opening scene from the Guardians of the Galaxy to provide the necessary setup. And then from there, I'll jump ahead to the black hole event and then dive directly into the Silver Surfer Black storyline. Now, alongside the dialogue from the comic itself, I'll need to add some original narration to provide context for things that the audience can actually see. The goal isn't to replace or detract from the original writing, but it's meant to complement it by filling in some of the visual gaps and helping the story flow naturally. So that's the idea. Alright, thanks for listening. House of X, Powers of X is on a good flow. It's a lot more delayed than I expected, but for someone that's putting this together all by himself, I'm quite proud of myself. Issue 1 is nearing completion, so I figured you'd like a small clip. This is Atticus with Another World Spoken. See ya.
Damage control. Contested storage facility.
Oh, this has gone south, Toad. And gone south quickly. How much longer?
You think it's easy searching the combined databases of not one but two of the smartest people in the world, copying what we need and then making it look like I was never here? Well, it's not, Mystique. I have limitations, and it's going to take us longest. Okay, we can go.
You probably shouldn't have wasted the effort in making it look like we were never here. Others weren't so careful.
I think you broke a few of them, Sabretooth.
Yeah, well, they were fragile. Then again. Woody!
There's never an excuse for recklessness, Creed. Especially when the plan called for us to quietly get in and get out, then lie low before we delivered the data. Now I think we're going to need a more direct exit strategy.
Washington Square?
Yes, that's the close...
Both of you, shut up! We got company.
Would you look at that, Ben? A bunch of no-good thieves taking stuff that don't belong to them. Now, what do we do with no-good thieves?
Nothing nice, Johnny.
Both of you, go on! I got this!
That's mighty bold for someone who smells like burnt hair. Smile for me.
If we don't get out of here with the data, this was all for nothing. We have to make the gateway.
Shall we run? I think we should run.
Yes. Run!